Hi boys and girls. I came to share another book with you. This one is called How Much is a Million by David M. Schwartz, and the pictures are by Stephen Kellogg, and he is a very famous children's illustrator and author, and he has a number of books. If you've ever heard of Pinkerton, he's a dog that Stephen Kellogg writes about a lot. And all of his illustrations are very unique and very much you can tell when it's Stephen Kellogg's books. But I thought this was a fun one because it's kind of a math one, because it's talking about numbers and thinking about how big numbers really are. So let's read it. How much is a million? And it starts off here it says 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million. How much is a million? And it says, Marvelosissimo, the magical magician. So he's going to be showing us how much is a million. I think the illustration's great. If 1 million kids climbed onto one another's shoulders, they would be, so imagine, 1 million kids. What would that look like? Here they go. Taller than the tallest building, higher than the highest mountains, and farther up than airplanes can even fly. These are all kids. See? Stacked on top of each other. If you wanted to count from 1 to 1 million, it would take you about 23 days. Start counting. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 23 days. That's a long time. If a goldfish bowl were big enough for 1 million goldfish, so look, they're dumping goldfish in the bowl. Look how big that fish bowl is. It would be large enough to hold a whale. Presto, 100 stars. So he's got 100 stars here. If this book had 1 million tiny stars, they would fill 70 pages. Climb aboard. Can you see? Each page is filled with these teeny tiny stars. So all these little white dots that you see are stars. And we're going to keep turning. That's 2 pages. That's 3 pages. That's 4 pages. We're not really going to go through 70 pages, but 5, 6, 7 pages. So we would need to do that 10 more times. And it says, there you have 100,000 stars. If we take this 7-page journey 10 times, we will pass 1 million stars. Let's do that later. I'm hungry. That's what that kid says. I'm thirsty, says this one. So we would have to go 70 pages of these teeny tiny little stars. See these? Not this one up here, but the little white dots. How big is 1 billion? If 1 billion kids made a human tower, they would stand up past the moon. 1 billion kids. If you sat down to count from 1 to 1 billion, you would be counting for 95 years. That's crazy. If you found a goldfish bowl large enough to hold 1 billion goldfish, it would be as big as a stadium. Look at how huge that is. 1 billion. What a giant number. If this book had 1 billion tiny stars, so remember when we did the 7 stars was 1 million. So if we had 1 billion, its pages spread side by side would stretch almost 10 miles. That's a lot more than 10 pages. 10 miles. That's huge. How tremendous is 1 trillion? So now we're going to get an even bigger number. If 1 trillion kids stood on top of each other, they would reach way, 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 way beyond the moon. So there they are, stacked up. Past the moon, beyond Mars and Jupiter too, and almost as far as Saturn's rings. So think about how far that would be into outer space to reach 1 trillion when we stack them all up. Oh, the aliens are watching all the kids. They're like, these guys are crazy. That's a huge number. If you wanted to count from 1 to 1 trillion, it would take you almost 200,000 years. If you put 1 trillion goldfish in a goldfish bowl, oh my goodness, the bowl would have to be as big as a city harbor. Oh my goodness. So you can't even have a container that big. It would have to be a natural landform. If you put 1 trillion of our stars onto a gigantic roll of paper, it would stretch all the way from New York to New Zealand. That's huge. The end. And then there's a little explanation page about the different ways that they measured how to count the children and how many stars are on each page and how large goldfish are. But basically, I thought this was one fact I wanted to share with you. The tiny stars on this set of 7 pages that looks like this. Each of these pages, it says in the back, the basic star pattern is 108 stars across. So every tiny row of stars is 108. And if I went all the way down the page and counted, it would be 133 stars. So each page has 14,364 stars. Isn't that amazing? That's crazy. So, all right, so now I want you to think about really giant numbers today. What are things that you would count in millions and billions and trillions? Whatever it is, it would have to be pretty small. Otherwise, you're going to have to find somewhere to store it, I suppose. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed How Much is a Million, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.